Hi, welcome to the NAB Show studio here at NAB New York. I'm Claire Plaisted, and today I'm joined in the studio by Alec Jarnagin, Director of Photography. Nice to meet you. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me. Nice to meet you.
So, thanks for coming down to visit us at the show, NAB Show New York. I just wanted to get a bit more of an idea about some of your journey in the industry and tell me a little bit about being a camera and Steadicam operator.
Well, I've been a camera Steadicam operator for over 20 years at this point, over 25 years. I got started at a very young age doing, scrappy indie projects in Boston, Massachusetts. And I got into Steadicam then, and then I moved to New York and really wanted, started concentrating on being a camera operator,
right.
And put sort of being a DP on hold for the time being, and so I could go learn from the great DPs, and did that for over 20 years, and I've sort of recently been transitioning to DPing full time.
Okay, great. So I understand you've worked on some amazing projects over the years. Tell me a little about some of the award-winning projects, such as CODA.
CODA is really the little movie that could. It was sort of, we shot it in Massachusetts, in Gloucester, Mass, late summer, early fall of 2019. I fell in love with the script when I read the script. And then Paula Hudebaro, the director of photography, called me. We had a great conversation on Zoom, and she had worked with Sean, the writer-director, a number of times. So that I could tell it was going to be a great collaboration. Right. And yeah, Gloucester's beautiful. I grew up in Concord, Massachusetts, so I was familiar with Gloucester, and I'm like, what a great time of year to go. And it's, and then the pandemic happened, and you kind of forget all about these things, right? Forget about the film, but it cleaned up at Sundance and then set a record, I think, for the most bought or most expensive, highest sale or whatever they call it. Yeah. At Sundance, and then it kind of marched on from there to the Academy Awards. And
great.
Yeah. So.
Were there any challenges you encountered as being a DOP on it?
I was camera operator.
Camera operator. Sorry.
I didn't speak sign language. I tried to learn a little bit.
Because most of the casts are deaf.
Correct.
There's very
huge chunks of the film are entirely in American Sign Language. So Sean taught me how to introduce myself as the camera operator, and the cast was fabulous like that. But yeah, it was interesting. And like, what is a close-up, right? We always do this in a close-up, but you have to have the hands. If you don't have the hands in the shot, in the frame, you're missing the lips.
Fascinating, yeah.
So that suddenly means your close-ups are here instead of here, And then, and the other thing is there's no reaction shot, right? Because you can't cut away from the person who's signing because you'll miss
it's a whole different
the
way of
speech.
filming, isn't it?
Yeah, there's no off-camera dialogue.
Yeah, interesting. So. And then sort of some of your more recent work with Paramount Plus, the Good Fight.
Yes, the Good Fight. We just finished our final season 6. I was the camera Steadicam operator for seasons 3 and 4, and then I get working with Fred Murphy, who's ASC legend and a wonderful DOP, and Tim Guinness. And then Fred went on to shoot the show Evil, and so Tim Guinness and I got to join Tim as the other DP, and so Tim and I alternated, and it's been a tremendous experience.
How are you finding doing this work in a post-pandemic world? What are the challenges, and what are the things you've learned, and the good things and the bad things? And
well, the lighting technology has changed tremendously since I was a young electrician working in my 20s in Boston, and worked and shooting. Back then, if you wanted to change the intensity of a light, a person would actually walk over and put wire in front of it, And now everything can be controlled remotely from dimmers, either from an iPad or from an actual dimming board. But where that really comes in to play in the post-pandemic world is, we rehearse with the actors and we send them away, and then we set up, and we have what we call second team comes in, and we set up the shot with them, but they're all required to wear masks.
Right.
So inevitably, when first team finally comes and you're actually seeing skin tone and they take their mask off, you end up adjusting pretty much every light by a couple of points. Like, hey, let's bring that light up 5 points and that one down, 5 points, and you can do that.
Because you can do it on the fly.
You do it
Yeah.
really, yeah. You do it from the monitor with your gaffer, and it's super fast. And I just don't know how we could have, with old technology, done that. It would have driven people crazy. Because the safety, you have to send someone in the room and put a scrim in the light.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that's what the pandemic's done across the whole industry. It's just accelerated the use and the take-up of a lot of technology that may have been there before, but now we're all having to use it.
And frankly, in prep now, so much of it's done by Zoom still.
Right.
So, and I don't think that's going to necessarily go away. Why have all these in-person meetings?
Absolutely. Yes. Why do you need an in-person meeting? But then again, trade shows become more important because that's the only time that you may have seen people face to face and get back to work. But
that's true. Yeah, no, it's nice to get in here and actually see people and some equipment again.
Yeah, it is. Well, thank you so much for coming down to the show, and thank you for coming to visit us in the studio today.
My absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me.